I think I'm not referring to a style of architecture. I'm more interested in a way of thinking, and for example, the way of being related to the nature, to what is to the life, in all the forms that you can find. And for the materials also, I'm looking for materials who are efficient, light, economic, and materials who got skill for the project I'm running. But it's not a question of style. It's a question of means and resources to find a goal. It's a difficult question because we have to define what is nature, what is the limit between human and nature. I think maybe it's the same category sometimes. And the architecture is having the power to create this relation and to make them as close as is possible. Because sometimes the way we are building cities and the environment where we are living, we divided the nature and the people. And sometimes with very simple action, you can link the both. And yeah, I think the modern world is creating a way of thinking out of the nature. And maybe it's nice to be able to bring back the both in the same place. Yeah, because I think we have to think architecture with its environment and not like isolated object. If you don't think the environment of the architecture, the quality of the architecture is not enough. You have to be related to something. A nice view, a nice environment. Maybe it's the way I'm working, maybe it's a shift. I mean, to reverse the way we are looking at architecture. You know, always we look at architecture from the outside, looking an object. And maybe we have to change to be inside and looking outside and to see what relation we create with the environment. So the same architecture, if you are in front of the sea with a beautiful sunset, or if you are in front of a disaster, is not the same architecture. So the environment and architecture cannot be think without each other. I think it's the only goal of architecture is to change just a little bit the environment of the people and social life. If you can do for one person, for a family, for a group of persons, for a community, I think for an architect it's very efficient and grateful to go on that point. But what I can say is maybe in the world we are more interested to make business than to be grateful with the people. It's a shame, because I think it's the goal of architecture. Otherwise, I misunderstood what I'm doing. I think it's a good question, because you try to make a link between my personal life and what I'm doing, and sometimes we forget to do that. So it's a good question. First question, I've got window. And through my window, I can see at night the star, beautiful sky. I've got also a bird house on my window. And so I've got some, in spring, I'm having a bird family, mésange, I don't know, it's a yellow, blue and black bird, small bird. Yeah, so you see, and it's in the city. So the nature is not something very big. Sometimes it's a piece of nature, or the nature is everywhere. The birds, that doesn't have category or administrative approach of the territories. And also, because you're asking me on my personal life, I must tell you that I grew up in the mountain, very high in the mountain. So I spent half of my life in very strange place, very small village in the mountain. Very funny, and after I moved to the city. It's not a doctrine for me to impose or to how can I say in English, to be pushing about this question of nature. Sometimes just a bird or the sky, for me, it's the nature, it's enough. You know what I mean, huh? You're not obliged to put green stuff or... But yes, of course, my life is that one, so I'm very related to my own experience of life. I like for example, I'm very close to the river, these kind of things. So, yeah.